All right, everybody. We're back here with 808 Scene, episode 88. We got Oceans Deep, probably the best hardcore band in our scene. But I just wanted to introduce the guys here. If everybody could say hi and say your name and what instrument you play.
Yo, it's Paulito on bass. What's up?
I'm Ryan. I play guitar.
I'm Ed. I play guitar.
Nick, the drum rat.
Joey, vocals, hype man, and tambourine.
Tambourine. I noticed that. We were shooting your guys' set. I saw the whole that tambourine stuff, man. I was like,
Dude,
wow.
Some people think they could just pick it up, just like, I'll be a tambourine. So there's a skill. There's an art to it, man.
There's an art to it.
Years of training.
Tambourine core, huh? You know, there's different genres of hardcore out there, right? So how would you guys describe your genre of hardcore that you play?
I always say like it started out traditional, but it turned into more of like a melodic hardcore. We don't really try to sound like any band specifically. It's just kind of how we write. We obviously have influences, but when we get down to it, we just come up with riffs and just write it. I mean, we all have our influences, so there is like some background type, like, oh, this is cool how this band does this or this band does this, so you know, maybe we can go down that path. But it's not like set in stone. And every song we've written, especially with this lineup for the past 2 years or so, 3 years, it's everyone's had their input. And like every song that you've heard on the video recording that we did has taken like multiple practices and have developed over, you know, several months. I would say some are easy, some take longer, but I mean, I would say like it's got a good melodic, heavy hardcore type sound, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I feel like I get
bands if you wanted that.
I feel like a little comeback kiddish vibes, you know, or like maybe some like American Nightmare shit like that.
Comeback Kid, Bane, Defeater. Definitely got some American Nightmare parts. Yeah.
So it's not like your chuggy, you know, drop the hardcore, but definitely that.
It's just little dashes of here and there. Just don't want to try like set like too far in like one corner. At the same time, like everybody's just bringing like something new to the table, especially with everybody here. Like these four guys, what they've been coming up with for like the past few years, it's just such a chemistry, like nothing we never had before with like our old lineup. And
yeah,
like,
it used to be Joey and I, and then a couple other guys that were there in the beginning, and then we had a big change up in 2018, I think it was.
Oh wow,
summer 2018. Yeah, so we started in 2017. 2018 was when the big change up came, and that's what you see here now is what it's been since I think June 2018, something like that.
It's one thing where like you and Ryan and I would like jamming out stuff before when I was like formerly like the drummer, and just playing what sounds cool. But then once we got, like I said before, once everybody started like kind of pulling in some like different ideas and new styles, and it all kind of came together.
The
What are you guys' influences? How do you guys incorporate that into the music style you guys play?
I don't know, man. I listen to a lot of Sade.
Sade, is that the Ordinary Love Lady?
Yeah.
We were jamming Wu-Tang before we started this.
I'd say for like the hardcore that I was into, I kind of got into it from the more like abrasive side. So like Converge, Cave In, like old Cave In, and kind of like almost grindy kind of stuff too. I got into it like, yeah, like old Every Time I Die, Dillinger Escape Plan, that kind of stuff.
Oh, you young boy, you listen to all that shit, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, that's kind of how I got into it, and then I got into, this like traditional hardcore from that. I mean, I was always into like Minor Threat and stuff when I was younger, but then like as I got older, I got really into like the abrasive stuff, and I got into melodic hardcore kind of after, with like Bane, American Nightmare, stuff like that, and then yeah, now it's like I don't know. I listen to a bunch of random stuff.
Most of my influence comes from old BBJ sets from Coffee Factory.
No.
Or like
What you know
Come
about
On a
that?
Dance Party. I used to just
you know
watch
about
a lot
that?
of Come On a Dance Party and get all hypey to that.
The better Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, dude. I grew up with a lot of like East Coast hardcore and punk. So I used to live in DC, Virginia, travel up to New York all the time. So I mean, Bad Brains, obviously. But like I usually started with like Jimi Hendrix, The Doors, a lot of AC/DC at first when I was younger.
Lizard King.
Red Hot Chili Peppers all day, dude. Like that's how I learned to play the funk.
Give it
man.
away,
Like,
give it away, give it away now.
name a song, bro. I got you. But then going out of high school, I started getting into like Trash Talk.
High school
Down
shit.
to
I was like in
nothing.
college, or like I was an adult already. He was like in college.
That was like 2009, 2010 for me, bro. And then a couple bands. Turnstile was in my scene. You know, Baltimore, Maryland, going to Richmond, Virginia. I just grew up watching these guys. Trapped Under Ice, more of the more current like hardcore bands, but like that's top tier for me, honestly. Like if you think of hardcore, Trapped Under Ice, Turnstile. I like a lot of like British punk rock music as well, like Higher Power as well. I don't know, just groovier stuff for me. I like just groovier things. I like to kind of like feel it out and just jam out when we play, you know? So
Nice.
stuff like that.
I grew up in like the same similar scene as Paul too. New York mainly, that's where I'm from. So I grew up in a lot of East Coast and a lot of Boston hardcore. So American Nightmare, Bane, Every Time I Die, Comeback Kid, all the like Canada, New York,
Yeah.
Baltimore stuff. That whole little circuit there. From when I was like 17, 18 years old, just growing up playing in different bands and like seeing all these guys and just, that's what I grew up with, my little influences there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like growing up in Wailua, where just like hardly anybody like really listened to that kind of like hardcore. I think it was just when I started like jamming with like some of my first like friends, we definitely got like a lot of influences from like Operation Ivy, Minor Threat, Circle Jerks, and then I think like one of my buddy's dad like just said you gotta listen to Bane, and then that was just like the band that just kind of really like set off for me for like at least that kind of like hardcore. Even just like Give Blood, the album is still like a major influence for me.
Yeah, you wearing that
So-
Bane shirt right there, huh? You wearing that Bane right now, huh?
Last show.
Let's go.
Lyrically, I think a lot of like Shy Loon, Converge, and Bane is just like their structure, like way how they like those guys write and talk and the things that they talk about, and then the sincerity behind it. I think that's like what I appreciate a lot about like hardcore then. But yeah, I think a lot of like pre 2010 like hardcore I think kind of sticks for me a lot.
Great. So Nick, you want to change your answer? You want to give a real?
Final answer. BBJ. No, I honestly, I really don't listen to much hardcore. Like I grew up listening to punk rock, but when I hear it, I like it. I've never really dove super into that. Man, I don't know how people have the time of the day. Honestly, there's so many bands, right? So
Yeah.
like when they approached me about joining this band, I was like, I've never played anything like that really, but I'm down to try.
You're in.
I get more influence from drumming is more like as weird as it sounds, like the way that Sublime would link up their bass and their kick drum and their bass guitar. Like I really like that kind of and that's a weird reference, but like hip hop kind of stuff. Really, like I love the way that the bass and the bass drum lock up, and so that's the one thing that I try the most to do is just get those, like, let the guitars float on top and like link up with the bass.
Nick actually really did bring that aspect in and tightening up some certain things, because during all our rehearsals, it's a lot of the time is Nick and Paul actually just figuring out that main, bottom line. Yeah. And then just Ed and I just playing whatever we feel like over the top of that.
Yeah.
when I met Joey and Micah, it was through the Hawaii Hardcore page.
Oh,
And I came out here and I posted a couple things, and these two guys actually hooked me up with that and got me the in and like where shows are and whatnot.
wow.
But the fun fact out of that, when Joey and I actually met, we realized we were at This Is Hardcore in July of 2018. I think no, it was 2016. 2016.
2015? No.
2015. Yeah, 2015 was when I moved out here, July 2015. And we were both at that same show, and there's a couple pictures where you could see both of us
No
before
way.
we actually knew each other right in there. And like 6 months later, here it is.
Wow. So what? This is Hardcore Fest in Philly, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But yeah, I played in a bunch of bands like over on the East Coast, getting back to that anywhere from pop punk, hardcore. So it
Nice.
wasn't anything new coming out to it, but I knew I wanted to get back into it because that's where that passion is, and it's something I love doing.
Yeah, so I actually started out with like an old school metalcore band. It was very much like As I Lay Dying meets like August Burns Red kind of stuff.
What the fuck is
You
all
know-
that shit? Is that like Hot Topic Hardcore? What is that?
Pretty much Hot Topic hardcore.
Okay.
Perfect call, man. It wasn't until I moved to Hawaii where I kind of like Ryan's story that I found like a Hawaii hardcore thing on Facebook, and I linked with Micah McDermott and also Preston Taulau, and they
Nice.
showed me a No Bragging Rights show in 2013 at Hawaiian Brian's. They kind of showed me who was in the scene. It was
Wow.
like Casey Tatum, Ill Stance. I forgot it was like another band playing. But yeah, and I just kind of picked it up from there. I was in Black Hand for a little bit. Jammed a little bit with Out of Bounds too for a bit. Kind of filled in on bass. For a
That's
little
right.
bit
You were
there.
that fucker in Out of Bounds. I was like, who's this
See?
new kid?
See,
Who's this
There
new
you are.
kid? Who's this new kid?
Black Hand was like Rage Against the Machine with hardcore.
Nice.
A little bit of hardcore, but a lot of funk and like metal to it. So anything I can do groovy, man. But
yeah.
I did Lions Keep very briefly too. It was kind of like Ghost in the Side with like hardcore to it. It was pretty cool. It was with Adam Showers and some other friends of ours.
Mm.
And yeah, and then I kind of stopped playing for a bit. I had a melodic hardcore band too called Fracture. It's kind of like 100th meets like Death Heaven kind of stuff. A little bit of shoegaze with like melodic hardcore. It was fun.
Oh, wow.
And then took a break for a bit. And then I heard from these cats that, hey, they're looking for a bass player. And the rest is, yeah, it's pretty much the same time that Nick came in. And then, yeah, the rest is pretty much history.
It's cool. It's like when you think of hardcore, we know it's not like mainstream music, but once we find out, like, you're at Long's and you're like, hey, how come that guy's wearing like a Sick of It All shirt? Then you find out, hey, it's a hardcore kid, and then you feel like it's like a fraternity, right?
I love
Where all the
that
outcasts
scene
of
is
the
so
world were
small,
listening
man.
to shit,
Shout out to Making It to Be. That was my first band. We're actually still currently kind of doing stuff. Chris, James, Jordan, Mike, Lance. There's a bunch of guys that were involved with that project. That a lot of them they got me really into hardcore, especially my friend Jordan. I probably wouldn't be doing music if it wasn't for him. But
Good
yeah.
job, Jordan.
Yeah, shout out to Jordan.
Hi, Jordan.
No, he's a sick guitar player. Shout out to Cultist with Joey. Joey's our drummer for that. I did vocals for that. Yeah, I think for like a long time, I was mainly, people were just asking me to do vocals for bands. I actually joined Oceans Deep because they needed me to fill in for their old singer Drew.
He filled in twice on two. He used to fill in on bass, and then he filled in on the vocals.
Yeah.
And then that was around the time we were like, all right, we got to get this shit together. And then Nick and Paul jumped in, and then everyone just kind of like fell into place for that. But yeah.
But yeah, like with Cultist, shout out to Calder and Elliot, Mike. And then there's Madara. I was doing like kind of like it was like a prog metal band. It was kind of like kind of similar to what I was doing in Making Ends Meet, where we were.
Is it the same lineup?
No, it's pretty much the same lineup, but no, there's Reese and Brent, who is in that band too. So I was actually doing guitars and vocals with that too, and we were kind of just like Death Heaven meets Converge meets Between the Buried and Me, like long songs.
Okay. Okay.
2002, Black Square started. That was my first band, and then Hell Camino started shortly after. And I mean, I couldn't count the number of in between bands. There's a bunch of just. I always wanted to play drums, but nobody would let me, so I kept getting stuck with like guitar or bass, and I'm like, let me play drums. I ended up playing drums for this like shitty punk band for a little bit, broke up. Another, bands that just didn't maybe played a show or here and there. And then when I moved to the mainland, played in a band for a while, came back, and the hardcore scene had just blown up, and I was like, what's going on? Like I'm sure back in the day, right? Like you would know back in like the Haleiwa days, there was a hardcore scene, right?
Yeah.
But then there was a big lull. And then it kind of came back in what, like 2006 or 7 maybe?
Yeah, that's like when I met like Joey them, around there. We're like, kind of,
so I was like, I'm like, what's going on? And then me and a couple buddies started like this like posse hardcore band that we did for, I don't know, maybe a year or two.
Make the change.
No, that was Jesse's. Ours was Behave Yourself. But
fuck me.
same thing. Same thing. But yeah, like bands like this started popping up, and then when it was We Battle On was the one that I feel like just blew it up.
Right?
And I was like, it seriously changed everything in well, maybe not everything, but I was like, it was from like the old school punk rock stuff that I was used to, and then ska and reggae and whatever kind of all being mixed to like now all of a sudden there's tons of hardcore bands. It was really cool. It was really fun. But I was mostly gone for that, and I moved back, and then Die Slow was just like destroyed everybody's life. Like that was just like, they're like, you don't need to make hardcore bands anymore because we've already done the best one. So Die Slow, man.
Right.
That's it.
And I guess that's a perfect segue to talk about Joey and his famous hardcore bands, and maybe he can talk about it. What bands were you in, Joey?
Every single one.
Yeah. Someone had to maintain the scene, so Joey was like, I'm going to start 10 bands.
He's one of the 808 All-Stars.
I guess it started with like We Battle On for sure. It was with these guys, Matt, Prey. It was Kyle and Dustin. Those guys with like it was really like chuggy, double pedally drumming and lots of breakdowns. Just nothing I never really like enjoyed playing at all on drums. I just always prefer more like single pedal stuff. But it was good, like things that kind of mix it up a bit. But then after that's when like Die Slow was kind of was starting with like one of our buddies, Scott, and he was fronting that band. Like, he was from the East Coast, New Jersey hardcore scene, and that had like a good little era for sure. That was definitely more my kind of like drum style, just really thrashy punk, just like single pedal breakdowns, just keep it simple, keep it straightforward. And then kind of wanted to kind of switch things up and do vocals for a bit, and that's when I did this band called Siblings. Kind of like a really straightforward, like punk, more punk than like hardcore, if anything. Really just abrasive and just throwing. I think I probably listened to too much Ceremony or Trash Talk at that time because I was just trying to throw myself around the whole round.
Well, you were straight edge back then too, right?
Yeah, and that too, so I didn't have like I was able to catch my breath a lot easier. And then I was also 25 at the time, so my knee isn't giving out as much as it was before. But then after Siblings was it was probably the lull period as well too. Then Earl Grey, fuck me.
Oh
yeah. And that was kind of
what a great band, Earl Grey. What a great
That was
band.
the first time I saw Joey live actually in Hawaii. It was an Earl Grey and Rats show at Downbeat, formerly Downbeat.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was with Eric, Jeff, and I was really wanting to play drums on that band, but we already had like Nick Sheehan on drums for that, and I was kind of just playing bass, and I just wanted just with each band I just wanted to try something like a little different, and I was lucky that I got to be able to just play bass and just back up. And then I kind of, after Jeff left the band, then I kind of worked into like being more like a backup vocalist and playing bass for that. And
how's that? You're like our scene Dave Grohl. Just play all the different instruments. Cool thing is what I see with you guys, like, on social media, you guys all hang out with each other. It's like it feels like it's a real brotherhood. It's not some fake shit.
It really is. These guys were all my best men at my wedding. So
damn.
Yeah, these guys were all at my wedding. So
it's definitely one of the few, probably the only band I've ever had where we stay consistent with hanging out. I hear from Nick, I hear from Ed all the time. Ed's one of my oldest friends on the island, so we stay in touch almost every day. Ryan, whenever he has a chance to hang out, we hang out, do our thing. Joey too.
But honestly, it's very rare you get like a band where just like no one is just wants to bite the other guy's heads off. Or at least with these guys here, it's just we just love hanging out with each other. That's why I practice. Well, at least anytime I get time to hang out with these guys, like just even with like practice, it's just always cool to just like shoot the shit. But
we got a lot of stuff. We have a website, www.oceansdeephc.com. We update that pretty regularly when we have something. And that actually has clickable links to everything that we have: Spotify, Apple, YouTube. We have a YouTube page with a bunch of show footage. Even got some playlists. You can find us on Bandcamp. Instagram is Oceans Deep Oahu. Facebook is Facebook Oceans Deep HC. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube,
MySpace,
Amazon Music. Yeah, you can find us everywhere. We put us out. We're got a far reach. So, yeah, we're deep in the ocean, so you can find us. So. Wow. So far into the ocean that we have people in Australia, England, and Japan downloading our stuff. So
there you
doing
go.
something right. So
worldwide hardcore,
worldwide. Yeah.
Shout out to all the boys in Richmond, DC, Baltimore, all my homies. I miss you guys. Shout out to my mom. I love you, mom. My sisters, my pops. Love you guys. I don't know. I can't even think of anybody else except for the people that are already here. Thanks for this, bro. Seriously, you're the boy. Yeah, that's all I can think of. So I'm gonna pass it to Ryan, bro.
I'll say what's up, Rochester Hardcore, where I came from. Showed me how to do it, and now I'm all grown up and doing it in Honolulu now. Everyone in the scene here that supported Oceans Deep, or any of us individually in all our different projects. My wife, Mel, love you. Let me do all this. Joey, Nick, Ed, Paul, thanks for continuing to do this. BBJ, thanks for supporting, doing all this.
Shout outs to my mom and dad for getting me into music. Shout outs to Jordan, James, Chris, Nelson, Mike Big Dirty, my boys. I got these guys over here. Michael McDermott, along with Ryan, keeping the scene alive,
right?
With running the Hawaii hardcore. Just everyone that's been involved in the hardcore scene, I probably wouldn't be playing music if it wasn't for y'all teaching me how to two-step at shows and stuff like that.
Yeah. You're part of the 808 Mosh team. I see you out there. I see you.
I try. I'm getting old. Getting sore.
I just want to say I love you to my cat, Slurms.
Slurms.
I want to say look out for Kaliko coming out on fucking, what is he coming out on? Not Hawaii 5-0. Magnum. Yeah. That's some cool shit.
No spoilers, bro. No spoilers. I don't want to know what he's
Well, by the time this comes out, that'll be happened already, right?
Jungle Cruise too.
Right?
Oh, word?
You fucking lied. I didn't see him.
Yo. Yeah, Kaliko's doing big stuff out there, and he also ruined my life on getting me into shoes. Him and Josh Ching. So
Shout out to Josh. Shout out to Josh Ching, bro.
Shout out to Smutaka. Shout out to my wife, Ezgi. Thank you for putting our son to bed for tonight so I can be able to do this. Keanu, if you see this 10 years from now, I love you. You're the world to me. Shout outs to High Fives and Stage Dives, 808 Scene, Hawaii Hardcore for keeping the fire going. You guys, Paul, Ryan, Ed, Nick, I love you guys.
Aww.
You too, John, of course.
Aww.
Also, mom and dad, of course, for thanks for helped me get into this and with music, and yeah, thank you. Love you guys.
Was it the KHON?
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Hell yeah. Sick interview. This was great.